Do you know what really annoys me? When some random podcaster starts talking about the moon landings like there's some authority on the topic. Proper winds me up. So when I saw a clip from a podcast called Boys Let's Talk Locker Room, I know, and they sit there saying the moon landing was fake, I simply had to get involved. Hello all and welcome along to another episode of Tinfoil Tuesday with me, Simon Dan. Thank you very much for joining me. Before we begin today though, a quick thank you to the sponsors of this video, Raycon. Raycon offers amazing quality audio at half the price of other premium audio brands. Don't believe me? How about their tens of thousands of 5-star reviews? Now, Raycon's optimized gel tips are designed to fit comfortably in your ears to actually stay there. Whether you're shaking your head at constant flat earth videos or doing some home DIY. I tend to use them when walking the dog and catching up with some of my favourite running podcasts. Now my Raycons actually come with me anywhere I go so I can listen at any time. With 8 hours of playtime and a 32-hour total battery life. I never have to worry about whether or not they'll be up to the task. And talking about walking the dog, it's really useful to use Raycon's awareness v isolation mode whilst I do it. The awareness mode feature allows me to listen to the podcast while also hearing what's going on around you, just so I can keep an eye on Dougie. Click the link in the description box or go to buyraycon.com/SimonDan to get your first purchase of Raycons with 20% off plus free shipping. Right, back to today's video, which is about a podcast called Boys Let's Talk Locker Room. They were chatting one episode and the moon landings came up, and as usual, they started talking a load of waffle. And I warn you, there's a lot of it. Let's join them, shall we?
What is it? Hubble telescope reveals galaxy that hosted a supernova 2.5 times brighter than the sun.
Billion.
That's bright.
Yeah.
So it's a new galaxy.
Wait, a new galaxy inside of our galaxy?
See what I mean?
Is that what it says? New galaxy, right?
Space is so weird, man.
What does it say?
It's located about
150 million light years away.
in the constellation Leo.
Hopefully they will understand that that is not in our galaxy.
Damn.
We
That's
can get there.
Uncomprehendable.
Few years.
Incomprehensible. It's fine. You're good.
Yeah. Maybe there's another like Earth.
Yeah, like that's. I think about this all the time, dude. Like, what? There's got to be something out there.
It's got to be. I think there's aliens or maybe they don't look like aliens.
No, just living creatures somewhere.
There has to be. There's no way. There's no. We're the only planet with living creatures. Didn't they
Yeah.
find living creatures on like Mars or something, like bugs and stuff?
No, they didn't. But I do sort of agree with this guy here. In all likelihood, there probably is some sort of life out there in the universe other than here on Earth. Not necessarily intelligent life, but life all the same.
They found like frozen water,
Yeah, that's what it was.
Frozen water.
which was super important.
Well, Mars does of course have ice caps, and they're thought to be a mixture of water ice and carbon dioxide ice. Now there is a theory that liquid water exists below the southern cap on Mars, but that has not been confirmed yet.
Yeah, they were saying that there could have been life there in the past.
Right.
I got a question. If we've been to the moon, why haven't we been back?
We've been back.
When?
Oh no, I thought you went back to Earth. I know.
Back
what
to
you
the
mean now.
moon.
I know.
Because it costs so much money.
Yes, someone who actually understands how these things work. I'm starting to like that guy on the left.
But we were doing that in like the 90s.
That's why
dude.
We were doing it in the 70s.
there was that bit.
70s.
Oh yeah, Cold War. Yeah.
There was that big disaster, and I don't think we've done one since. Like four astronauts died.
Right,
Or some
That was
shit.
supposed to be a Mars
That's-
trip though.
That's
right?
why I'm thinking
I don't know that.
maybe it could have been fake.
What? How much nonsense was there to unpack there? Okay, the majority of the moon landings did happen in the 70s, not the 90s. The 90s was pretty much the space shuttles, and it was that had the disaster. Well, 2 of them. Challenger in 1986 and Columbia in 2003. 14 astronauts died across the 2 of them, 7 on each. And then he says the moon landing's fake. This should be interesting.
What do you? I think
The
4
moon
people
landing.
died. No. Oh.
No. Just the moon landing.
It
'Cause
honestly could have.
If we can go, why haven't we been back? We have more technology. Why can't we research this stuff more?
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
Doesn't that make sense?
Yeah.
Not really. The other guy was getting there. It's expensive. NASA's budget has shrunk in terms of a percentage of the federal budget. It's been falling since the 90s pretty much year on year. You need a launch vehicle to get to the moon, and NASA didn't have one for decades. But now they do, which is why they're going back on Artemis.
You would think that we would just go back.
It would make sense for the U.S. to fake the moon landing too, then, because they were trying to beat
'Cause
the
there's-
Soviets to the moon.
Did the
was a
Soviets
big
ever
thing.
go?
I thought China was actually the first.
He was doing so well. China have sent 3 missions to the moon starting in 2013, none of which have sent astronauts.
No, it was us.
It was a monkey.
No monkeys have ever been to the moon.
I think
We definitely
did.
done that.
But I
Yeah.
swear to God, China actually made it first.
That would be Russia. They sent the first craft and the first person in 1957 and 1961, respectively.
Like, they didn't go to the moon first, but they made it into space first.
Do we know if the monkey made it back?
Yeah, the monkey made it back.
Oh, that's sick.
I'm pretty sure.
Well, a lot of monkeys actually did die in a lot of test flights before Ham went up to space and returned in the Mercury program.
Space monkey.
But nowadays, it's the billionaires. They go to space for like 10 minutes.
They literally barely leave the atmosphere.
Yeah, I know. They go just high enough.
I would rather
that
go to
you lose
space
gravity.
than go to like what do you call it? Then go in a submarine to go see the Titanic.
I think after the recent tragedy with Titan, most people would. Are they actually going to supply any evidence for this supposed fake moon landings? Or are they just going to waffle on forever?
Oh my god.
I'm gonna start selling to see the wreckage of the submarine that went to the Titanic.
That's nuts.
Ham, the chimp.
What was the date on that?
July 1957 to January 19th,
1957.
To 83?
Oh, that's his lifespan.
Oh, that's how long he lived.
Oh, I
When
thought
did he go to space?
1961, sorry.
1961.
We were in space in the 60s. That's nuts.
So he didn't go to the moon. He went to space.
Honestly, even asking that question is just...
Have you seen water in space? Like
I've never been.
When the dude like rings the towel.
Oh, yeah.
How do you put a fish in that?
What
It-
happens?
They launched a cat
They launched a cat.
in 1963.
Well, with the fish, too.
1963.
With the fish too, you need to pump oxygen in. So they probably had an enclosed ball of water that had like an oxygen.
Maybe
tank
it was
on
pressurized.
With zero gravity.
It could have been pressurized.
Maybe.
It had to have been like
It
enclosed.
had to have been
though,
pressurized. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yes, and it turns out fish don't do very well in microgravity. Now, I'm not going to look at the rest of their video because they start talking about space ejaculation. Seriously, utter waffle. I need a serious argument to look at, not these amateurs. So I'm drafting in the Apollo detectives. They think they've found something regarding Buzz Aldrin's watch. Let's have a look.
Oh yes, now we have Buzz Aldrin's watch. And of course, this was recorded 59 minutes after he first sets foot on the lunar surface, and they should be on universal time. And it just seems that his watch should be set. I mean, it's very critical that his watch would be accurately set for timeline on it. And it's like 14 minutes after 11. And it should be somewhere after, 20 after 3 or something like that.
It's these little things which, on a major film studio, you would have continuity girls looking for the problems, which this is, where you've got the wrong time on it, where you've got things which are not supposed to be there. But they didn't appear to have anybody to do that on Apollo. Perhaps they ran out of budget.
Okay, right, let's check this out. Apollo 11 landed on the moon at 8:17 p.m. UTC. But Neil Armstrong did not leave the lunar lander till 2:56 a.m. the next day. And that would have been 10:56 p.m. Eastern Time. Now, Buzz Aldrin leaves the Eagle lander at around 3:15 a.m. UTC. Now, if this photo was taken around an hour after Buzz Aldrin left the lunar lander, which is what the Apollo detectives are about to claim, then it should be around 4:15 a.m. UTC. Now that is 11:15 p.m. Eastern Time. So his watch is right, isn't it?
Well, that would put him right on target if he was on Central Time. This photo was taken an hour after he so-called set foot on the lunar surface. That puts him right on time with the national 11 o'clock news Eastern Standard Daylight Savings Time. And that puts him at a quarter after 11 an hour later on Central Time. So now he's at Flagstaff. That's where that watch puts him.
Right, so the Apollo detectives are claiming that because the daylight standing time was being observed, then the Eastern time should be 12:15 p.m. and not 11:15. And that means that they're saying that Buzz was actually somewhere on Earth in a time zone of 11:15 rather than on the moon. Well, you know what else is Central Time, don't you? Houston, Texas. Could it be possible that Buzz Aldrin had his watch time set to the same time as mission control? Now, I think that's more plausible than the entire moon landing being fake, don't you? Now that, boys, is how you argue for the moon landing being fake. I mean, they were still wrong, but at least they put some effort into it. Well, there we go. What do we think of our two separate moon landing denier groups there? Let me know in the comments what you thought of their performance. I'm pretty sure I know what you're going to say about both of them, but it'd be interesting to hear all the same. But for now, we're all done and dusted for another Tinfoil Tuesday. Thank you so much for watching. It is, of course, appreciated. If you enjoyed it, please do consider subscribing to the channel. And of course, hitting that thumbs up button too would be excellent. And if you really enjoyed it, consider sharing it as well. Just enough time to once again thank Raycon for sponsoring today. Remember, visit buyraycon.com/SimonDan or hit the link in the description to get that 20% of your first purchase of Raycons and the free shipping. I've been Simon Dan. Have yourselves a cracking couple of days, and I'll see you on Friday for some more flat Earth observations, which apparently bust the globe wide open. We'll see. See you then.